It's cold out here, but thank you for joining me for another episode of Leilani Drinks the Brown Stuff. And I'm Leilani, and I'm sitting on the patio at our avocado ranch, ready to go with this week's winner chicken dinner. Oh, cold. Because of last week's whiskey, I had to go back to the grocery outlet and get this week's whiskey because I wanted to be fancy. So I got the canister first. So now I went and got the lower expression just to see, since that one was so delicious, the Grain of Truth. So tonight we are getting into the Tweeddale again, except it's the Tweeddale Blended Scotch Whisky. It cost me roughly around $20. They didn't have an EU price, but I'm saying it's probably around roughly 30 because with the Grain of Truth, it was $34.95. And then the EU price was $43.95. And then with the American dollar being depreciated out there in Europe, it costs around roughly $50 to $60. So I'm excited to try this $20 bottle. It's a bargain find. Let's see if it's, the taste. I mean, that's what we're looking for here. It is 40% ABV. And again, with Europe, they do not put the proof. So you double it. 80 proof, yo. Now, I think it said non-chill filtered, but only on the website. It's not on the label. And if you remember, or if you need to go back, rewind and watch the Grain of Truth, you will realize that they stated on the label that it was non-chill filtered. This also does not say that it's caramel free. However, we know that the Grain of Truth stated that it was caramel free. So I'm hoping that because it's like a lower brand, less label space, maybe more words, more money, and they didn't want to spend it. That's what I'm hoping, that, that it's a space that doesn't add caramel, but we won't know. We don't know, but I'm hoping that this distillery does not, because that's what they set the precedence of. Now, Alistair Day, whom you should know now, since I have said his name repeatedly, ended up using the original 9 distilleries that were outlined in his grandfather's book. Now, what was that book called? Y'all know it. I said it. We did this last week. Cellar book. And who is his great-great-grandfather? That's usually a picture in the bottles that's kind of like a person that sits with you. It rhymes with Mamert.
Are we taking tests? Like, what the hell's going on?
I would like for you guys to take a test sometimes, because this is the way we learn about the whiskey and could talk about it. And that's what you do around cold days, cold fires, cold days, warm fires. You talk about the whiskey that you're drinking. So it's Robert Day. Now, on a kind of slight parallel whiskey note, Alistair Day ends up meeting Bill Dobbies. Dobbies?
Doobies would be way better.
I know, it would be Doobie. But I think it's Dobbies. Met in 2013, and they became friends and then co-founders of the R&B distillery. In 2015, they ended up picking their location at the Isle of, I'm going to say Rasoy. It's one of those. Just pick one. And in 2016, they ended up getting granted the 19th century Borrowdale house, where they were able to renovate it into a state-of-the-art facility where it houses their distillery, their hotel. Like, it's this ginormous piece of property that they're able to do a lot with, and I'm super jelly because I really, really want to go. In 2015, the R&B distillers added the Tweeddale to their portfolio. They say that with their limited edition, they only release them once a year. And they do about 1,200 bottles. Now, I don't know if that goes with the regular Tweeddale, maybe just the grain of truth, but they say only 1,200 bottles, which was funny because if I remember correctly last week, see how these tests go? I remember the number was 1365. Now, I will double check that number because I have to say a lot of numbers. So, but I remember the bottle being 1365 and they said 1,200. So maybe I got some runoff, and that's the reason why we got the extra bottles here. But either way, I'm happy I got introduced to the Tweeddale. So let's open this up, and it's a screw cap. That I can tell right now. Still smells like rain and water, a bit of caramel, a little fruit forward, like an apple, crisp.
Pour it in the cup and smell it.
Oh, you shut up. I like to smell it from the bottle or the cap. And since I don't have the cork and I had this cap, ugh, let me just do it. Woman's po, oh, woman's po. Yeah, that's enough?
That's perfect.
Okay. I guess.
It's still a lot.
It is still a lot. I just looked at it and I was like, oh, that's still plenty. All right. Color's a little light. It has some hints of golden brownish in it. So the rain, wind, and water. That's what I smell in this. With the pear. But everything's very, very faint and very light in this. I get a hint of vanilla, but so slight. And maybe some like cardamom on the back end.
Does anyone know what cardamom is?
It's the stuff that goes in like pumpkin pies. So you have your cinnamon, you have your nutmeg, and sometimes you throw in some cardamom. And that's what cardamom is. I almost want to say it has like this black licorice kind of thing, and I'm not a fan of black licorice. But let's do this. Maybe a little bit of banana. But it is a watery mouthfeel, y'all. A little pop in the front, but nothing that's like major. You can taste a little bit of the smoke, a little bit of the peat in the back, but it's so faint. It is so light. But for a $20 blended scotch, I mean, really? Like, this is easy breezy. I mean, it is so mouth watery easy that I'm just like, how smooth can smooth be, as it's just gliding down your mouth like it's tea. It is just so faint and light with everything, but it's really chill and nice. I'm a little bit surprised because usually I don't like the lower expression to most things. Oh my gosh. But Leilani Drinks the Brown Stuff has to give this Tweeddale blended scotch that was $20 4 kisses, because it's easy. It is mouth watery. It is nice. It has this little kind of heat, but it goes away so quickly. I think you guys will enjoy it. So this is what I got to do since we did this last week. Hold on one second. Let's do this. Now, since I did give them both great remarks, but since I still have some left, I mean, I would like to see what I taste with this Tweeddale single grain, roughly compared to the blended whiskey. Now, like I said, it's lighter, it's easier, it's 2 different whiskeys. But you know what's so funny? The color is literally almost the same. I mean, look at that, y'all. I mean, really? And I'm sure this one, the Grain of Truth, was 9 months, obviously, in Oloroso sherry cask. So I'm wondering what they did with this. I don't know, but this definitely has a fuller smell. Like, it's right off the top. And you already know my review, but this is really silky smooth. Like, that's watery smooth. This is silky smooth. A little bit of the caramel and the burntness and the peat, but light. It's not heavily peated. It's just so light and just right there, just playing on the tip of the tongue. So you're getting a fuller flavor. But honestly, y'all, I mean, if you're definitely the connoisseur of scotches, then obviously you'd want the Grain of Truth. However, if you're going to throw, I don't know, ice cubes in something, like I refuse to, but my beast shall, then, you know, this blended scotch is probably the good way to go. Or if you wanted to mix it with certain things. But it's really nice and it stands apart on its own for $20, which I am so shocked right now about, that I'm happy. So, Robert Day has joined us and I have to say, cheers to the Tweeddale. Y'all are making me double fisted, and I'm happy about that. Cheers.